myself. But yeah, this is Roger Infinite Xtra custom music Black Origin. I was just gonna give a, I do a lot of I like to document, I love documentaries, and I think I watched a lot of music documentaries when I was younger. Not a lot to be like very cultic of it. I was more watching World War film documentaries, but I love like World War One and Two. I was watching the American Civil War documentaries. I love video documentaries, hence why anyone knows that's the work that I'm in right now. So saw an artist called Shyne. It must have come up on my feed last year. Now bear in mind, guys, I stayed in church all my life, so I don't really know what's going on with all the rap stuff, but obviously I knew about the shootings with Biggie, Tupac, and obviously Puff Daddy and all. I know the tunes out there, but I weren't really in it to know. So I saw this beat called Shine featuring Barrett and Levi. I listened to it. I was like, yo man, trust me, the drop out, like, just the vibe, and it did sound like a bit like, total West Indian influence. You can feel it, in hip hop, and I think hip hop is at its best when it entwines itself with Caribbean culture, which is the roots of hip hop anyway. But that's a whole nother subject in itself. But a young person's Shine, and now he's leader of the opposition in Belize, but also spent time in prison. So I was like intrigued about this, intrigued a bit. So when the documentary came up, I thought I'd watch it, and you see a child who's been rejected by one of the main guy in Belize, who's president. Got rejected. Couldn't be seen in public with his son. So he, and because of his wife saying no, he can't be around this, and his mom moved out of Belize to go to America. And that was great. Not great. She had to work hard. Then he ended up staying in America, and then ended up being caught up into pure madness and got shot. And his mum had to try and move out the areas and move around and whatsoever. But then he kind of, through that shooting experience, you could see how sick his mum was. He kind of then became, used his skills of writing. And try to get through the rap into the rap game, and he got himself into it, got him signed to Bad Boy, and then obviously there was an infamous shooting just as he was about to deliver his album, working on his album, and he was the fall guy for Puff Daddy, hence why Puff Daddy is in prison. And one of the charges is for letting the shotgun off, but he didn't, he kept his integrity, he kept his mouth shut. I don't know if you call that integrity, keep your mouth shut about the situation, but he got released after 8.5 years. We're back to Belize, and he went with a journey. Interesting thing is, you see him now seeking and searching, and he ended up in Israel. He has become a Orthodox Jew, which is kind of, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of interesting, and then come back and thought that, I don't need to be no rapper. I need to do what I'm doing now. Part of my journey was rap, and what I'm doing now, I want to be part of the leadership. His dad was obviously former prime minister, and yeah, you could argue, say a bit of nepotism. Somebody said that he got the role, but he seems to have a heart for the people, and he wants to change Belize. He wants to take Belize out of the developing world. I think a lot of my generation, my age group, which he's part of, we want better for our homelands. We understand what the Europeans have done to our spaces, and continue. You don't see the beauty, can't be self-sufficient, having to squeeze ourselves into places where we're not wanted, like America and Europe, and we just don't make home. Belize. I'm looking at that, and it looks at the I looked at the makeup of Belize, and it's a lot of black people, but they're not known as black. They're like mixture and whatsoever. But when I look at the videos, the pure black people, people of African descent, part of the African diaspora, and once again, we just allow other nations to exploit, even if this is our second home. But I thought it was a great documentary. I thought it was really insightful. It really shows that, how rough the music industry was at the time, and the exploitation of a generation as the wars all started. It's kind of sad things that happen with Puff Daddy the way it has, but a lot of people think they're indestructible and get caught up with the moment. And I would say people, Shyne, got locked up, but at the end of it, he's representing his country. He actually, what was beautiful for him to say, before Puff Daddy got locked up and before he found out that was it, he had to deal with that demon with Puff Daddy and actually faced it off. And I think sometimes, people don't really talk about these sides of the stories of, what, he said that it was killing him more than it was killing Puff. So he had to go through the process, met up Puff, go through the process of forgiveness and meeting it head on. And I think that's really great testament to how we should operate in our lives. It's not being a walkover, but see how things are eating us up. So big up to Shyne for that and for sharing that kind of part. He's not a perfect person. I don't, he I suppose being a Jewish person, he wouldn't be bigging up Jesus Christ, but at the same time, the biblical principles are throughout Judaism, and it was blessed to see somebody talking like that. And I think that's an example that we should be listening to and understanding. People have really done us over, especially when we're in music ministry, especially in a thing where it's hard to get over. You have to understand that you can't forget it. You gotta talk about it, because the joke was, after he spoke that part right before the documentary was best finished up, the whole drama of Tough Puff that he came up, so he had to now go back in front of the camera and go, boy, after all that with Puff, it was found out, he was accused of making the shot that actually he got imprisoned for. So he's like, wow, I'll have to just keep on moving rather than sinking myself. So it's intriguing. It's on the Disney app, guys. If you want to check it out, it's really intriguing, man.
Hi, and thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, you like, and you comment, and make sure that you're sharing the videos and watching so much more. We have loads of content for you. I hope you enjoy.